In the shadows of 17th century Italy, a mysterious figure emerged whose story transcends the pages of history and delves into the clandestine realms of rebellion and desperation. Giulia Tofana, a name whispered with both admiration and fear, is said to have played a chilling role in a covert campaign that challenged the oppressive structures of her time. What makes Tofana's tale particularly captivating is not only her alleged creation of a lethal poison, but the whispered belief that she used it to liberate hundreds of women who were trapped in abusive marriages. Join me on a journey through the enigmatic life of Giulia Tofana, a woman who, according to historical accounts, sought to empower the voiceless in a world dominated by societal norms. To understand Giulia Tofana's narrative, we must delve into the rich tapestry of 17th century Italy. It was a time when society had strict rules, especially for women. They had to stick to certain roles at home because of a tough system led by men. Marriage was often a predetermined arrangement, and divorce was a rarity, leaving countless women trapped in relationships that ranged from stifling to outright abusive. It is within this context that Giulia Tofana's story unfolds. A woman navigating the turbulent currents of a society where the pursuit of individual agency collided with deeply entrenched traditions. As a pharmacist in this complex historical landscape, Tofana occupied a unique position. The 17th century saw the blending of science, mysticism, and proto-chemistry, and Giulia's involvement in alchemy gave her access to knowledge that extended beyond conventional medicine. This knowledge, coupled with her reputation as a pharmacist, set the stage for the creation of a concoction that would become infamous in the annals of history: aqua Tofana. This deadly elixir, allegedly used by Tofana to help women escape oppressive marriages, raises questions about the lengths individuals are willing to go to challenge societal norms. Join me as we unravel the layers of this historical mystery, exploring the captivating life and alleged deeds of Giulia Tofana in 17th century Italy. Giulia Tofana's early life remains shrouded in mystery, with historical records offering only glimpses into her background. She was born in Italy in the 1620s, when society had strict rules for women and they didn't have much freedom. Giulia probably had a tough time dealing with the expectations of a society where women were mainly supposed to be wives and mothers, and they couldn't easily follow their own dreams. It is important to consider the social pressures Giulia faced in her early years. Marriage restrictions, limited avenues for personal expression, and a lack of legal recourse for women in abusive situations could create an environment where drastic measures seemed to be the only means of escape. Understanding this context helps us appreciate the desperation that may have driven Giulia Tofana to create her infamous recipe, aqua Tofana. Tofana's involvement in alchemy and her reputation as a pharmacist laid the foundation for her dark legacy. Alchemy in the 17th century was a blend of science, mysticism, and proto-chemistry. Alchemists often sought to transform base metals into gold or discover the elixir of life. Tofana's engagement in alchemical pursuits might have given her access to a knowledge base that extended beyond conventional medicine, opening avenues for experimentation with toxic substances. As a pharmacist, Tofana would have been well versed in the preparation and dispensing of medicinal remedies. This role granted her a degree of trust within the community, as apothecaries were respected figures in a society where medical knowledge was limited. Unfortunately, this trust became a tool for her dark designs. The apothecary's trade, which typically involved healing and alleviating suffering, took a sinister turn with Tofana's creation of aqua Tofana. Tofana had two sides to her life, one where she did regular stuff as a healer, and another where she made a dangerous poison to go against the usual rules. Understanding both parts of her life is important to figure out why she did extreme things and what the society was like that made her do it. Aqua Tofana, the infamous poison attributed to Giulia Tofana, was a deadly concoction that played a central role in the alleged murders orchestrated by her. The formulation of aqua Tofana was a closely guarded secret, adding an element of mystique to the already enigmatic figure of Tofana. Historical records are scarce on the precise ingredients, but it is believed to have contained a lethal combination of arsenic and other toxic substances. Aqua Tofana, made with arsenic, was a sneaky and powerful poison because arsenic doesn't have a taste or smell. This made it a quite an effective way to kill someone. The careful selection and combination of ingredients demonstrated Tofana's knowledge of toxicology, acquired through her alchemical pursuits. This deadly elixir became a tool of empowerment for women seeking liberation from oppressive marriages, highlighting the intersection of gender dynamics, power struggles, and clandestine actions in 17th century Italy. Tofana's cunning brilliance extended beyond the creation of aqua tofana. She ingeniously concealed the poison in everyday items, particularly in makeup products. This method of distribution added an extra layer of secrecy to her operation. At a time when cosmetics were already a part of women's daily routines, the idea of a lethal poison being camouflaged within beauty products was both diabolical and brilliant. The discreet nature of makeup allowed women to administer the poison without arousing suspicion. Tofana leveraged societal expectations and norms surrounding beauty and femininity to cloak her lethal intentions. Women unknowingly or knowingly became carriers of a poison that challenged the oppressive structures they sought to escape. The makeup products acted as a Trojan horse, disguising a deadly weapon that would bring about drastic and irreversible consequences. The secret distribution of aqua tofana through makeup products exemplifies Tofana's strategic thinking and her understanding of the societal roles assigned to women. By exploiting these norms, she subverted expectations and orchestrated a form of rebellion against the constraints imposed on women of her time. The concealment of murder within the realm of beauty products adds a chilling layer to the narrative. It shows how power, lies, and desperation were all tangled up in Tofana's supposed plan for freedom. While historical records regarding Tofana and aqua tofana are often murky, there are accounts that point to specific cases where the poison was suspected to be used. Reports from the 17th century suggest a significant number of sudden and mysterious deaths, particularly among husbands, in regions associated with Tofana's activities. One notable case involves a cluster of deaths in a small town, all linked to wives seeking relief from abusive or oppressive marriages. The supposed widespread use of aqua tofana in these cases raises questions about the scale of Tofana's operation. Some historical sources claim that over 600 women may have availed themselves of her services, hinting at a clandestine network that reached far and wide. The sheer number of victims, if accurate, underscores the desperation and societal conditions that pushed women to such drastic measures. The historical accounts of aqua tofana-related deaths contribute to the enduring mystery surrounding Tofana and her role in challenging the oppressive norms of her time. To understand the motivations behind the murders associated with aqua tofana, it is crucial to delve into the oppressive societal structures that women in 17th century Italy faced. During this period, women had limited legal rights and their roles were often confined to domestic spheres. Marriages were arranged and divorce was rare and socially stigmatized. Women found themselves trapped in relationships that could be emotionally, physically, or sexually abusive, with little recourse for escape. The motivations behind the use of aqua tofana can be seen as a desperate response to these oppressive conditions. Women facing a lack of legal or social support turned to extreme measures to liberate themselves from abusive husbands. The poison, concealed within the seemingly innocuous world of makeup, became a tool of empowerment for those who felt trapped in untenable situations. The alleged high number of victims suggests a collective outcry against the injustice of a society that failed to protect its most vulnerable members. Giulia Tofana, whether viewed as a criminal or a liberator, becomes a complex figure emblematic of a society in which women had limited agency and autonomy. The motivations behind the murders force us to confront the harsh realities of gender dynamics in 17th century Italy, and the extreme measures some women felt compelled to take in their quest for freedom and justice. Tofana's activities eventually attracted the attention of authorities, as the mysterious deaths linked to Aqua Tofana raised suspicions. The sudden and unexplained nature of these deaths, often clustered in specific regions, prompted local officials to launch investigations. Rumors and whispers in the community about a woman providing a solution to troubled marriages through her alchemical concoctions further fueled the curiosity of those in power. As the investigations unfolded, patterns began to emerge. Authorities likely pieced together connections between the victims, discovering the common thread of oppressive marriages and the use of Aqua Tofana. Tofana's clandestine network of distribution, coupled with the discreet nature of the poison, made the task of unraveling the mystery a formidable challenge for investigators. Tofana's activities came to an end when authorities managed to trace the distribution network of Aqua Tofana back to her. The capture of Tofana marked the culmination of a meticulous investigation that spanned regions affected by the alleged poisonings. Historical accounts suggest that Tofana faced a trial during which the evidence against her was presented. The consequences for Giulia Tofana were grave, reflecting the gravity of the crimes she was accused of. While details of the trial and subsequent events may differ in historical records, it is likely that Tofana faced punishment in accordance with the legal norms of the time. Given the serious nature of her alleged crimes, the consequences could have ranged from imprisonment to execution. Her capture and punishment signify the intersection of justice and retribution in a society grappling with the implications of her actions. Her fate serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the consequences of challenging societal norms, even when driven by desperation and a desire for justice. The story of Tofana, from suspicion to capture, trial and punishment, adds a dramatic dimension to the historical narrative, prompting reflection on the limits of individual agency in the face of oppressive structures. Giulia Tofana's actions and the societal conditions that may have contributed to her crimes provide a lens through which to reflect on the broader dynamics of 17th century Italy. Her alleged campaign, if viewed as an act of resistance, highlights the extreme measures women were driven to in the face of oppressive marriages and societal constraints. The limited legal recourse and social support for women in abusive situations created an environment where drastic actions seemed like the only means of escape. Giulia Tofana's tale is one that transcends time, weaving together elements of history, folklore, and societal reflection. From her alleged creation of the deadly Aqua Tofana to the cloak and dagger distribution through makeup, Tofana challenges our understanding of resistance and desperation in the face of oppressive societal norms. As we contemplate her legacy, it prompts us to reflect on the broader dynamics of gender, power, and justice, issues that resonate even in contemporary times. Whether you see Tofana's story as a lesson or a sign of rebellion, it's a strong reminder that history is full of complicated stories. As you think about Giulia Tofana's story, think about how her challenges might be similar or different from what people face today. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, continue exploring the fascinating intersections of history and human experience.